Well, will you look at that? Welcome to Pinball, y'all. I'm trying something new today, but not because I want to. I'm doing this in post because I recorded it earlier today and my audio got all garbled and robotic, and my video recording never actually happened. So I figured instead of trying to talk over again and recapture the magic of what I did before, I'd just capture some video and then talk about what I saw. I can't remember anything that's in this, if I'm going to be completely honest. Well, besides the game itself, this is Pinball. Just Pinball. It's, in my mind, lumped together with the sports games, except unlike tennis and baseball, this game doesn't last forever. This game takes a couple of minutes. It's quick, it's easy, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of cute animals for some reason. I want to talk about a few things. One, there's a guy. His name is Satoru Iwata. He was the president of Nintendo starting in 2002. He passed away in, I want to say 2015. I'll make a note on the screen if I'm wrong. And it was a huge blow for everybody. He was the face of Nintendo for the longest time. And when he passed away, like, people were scrambling. There were people who thought that Nintendo was flat out over because this guy died unexpectedly. But the reason I bring him up, despite the fact that he was an amazing man who is the only reason we got Kanto on Pokemon Gold and Silver. I will talk about Pokemon forever if you let me, so don't let me. The reason I bring him up is because this was his first project at Nintendo. He co-programmed this game with another man whose name escapes me, but that you saw at the beginning of this video in the code of the game. Their names are both in the code. You see that a lot in games, actually. But they're in the code, immortalized forever, and pretty soon, I think in a couple of games actually, maybe in another 2, we're going to be playing Iwata's first ever solo project at Nintendo, which is, in my opinion, not something that I would play very often, but yeah, if you were paying attention to recent Switch news, well, recent-ish, like the last couple of years, you probably know what game I'm talking about. But I'll leave it quiet for now. So, this board, I keep calling it a board. It's not a board. This pinball machine. I guess it's a board if it's a video game. It's got a lot of conflicting things going on. It's weird. There's playing cards. There's penguins. There's chicks. There's seals. There's Pac-Man dots. There's what look like Mahjong pieces on the left there. And that hole there, if you go down that hole, which I don't think I managed in this video, you get to go to a little minigame, which I can record later and show you guys because I think it's kind of cool. That's honestly, that minigame and all of the stuff that's jam-packed in this board is probably why Iwata was called in to work on it in the first place. Iwata was great at making things compact and great at basically taking shortcuts, and that sounds like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. He was great at reducing the size of things and jamming things into files that shouldn't have been possible. So I would not be surprised if he was a part of that Mario minigame, and maybe a couple of these animations on the board, like that dancing penguin there. I love that dancing penguin. So there's a lot of little touches to this board that I don't know if you ever get to see, but I'll talk about them anyway. Those chicks at the bottom, if you get all three of them in a row, then there are bumpers that show up on either side of the flippers. Those numbers all on the left side, I think those are just for points. Those dots in the top on the top left there, if you hit those, the seals go nuts and start bouncing balls and hitting that bumper in the middle of them, and you get, I think it's 1,000 points, maybe 1,500. And then the penguins add bumpers for the top of the board. And then I already talked about the Mario minigame. There's a lot going on in this board, and it's a lot of casual fun. I wouldn't recommend this game if you're looking for anything super challenging. I wouldn't recommend this game if you're looking for something super substantial. But if you have a few minutes to kill, definitely play Pinball. It's a lot of fun. Also, something else that I noticed, there's a bumper in the top left-hand corner by the dots. You want to be careful about that. Whenever you hit that bumper on the bumper, I don't know what to call things. Not everything is a bumper, but I guess everything's a bumper. But if you hit that, it makes a flashing white light, almost like you're playing a light gun game. Except this isn't a light gun game. At least I hope it's not a light gun game. Light gun pinball sounds terrible. So if you're playing and you're sensitive to that kind of thing, I would be careful about hitting that bumper. Or maybe even don't bother playing this game at all. As much fun as it is, I'm sure that there are other... See, there's that flash. I'm sure that there are other pinball games on the NES that are just as much fun. There are also some unused elements for this game that I wanted to put in, but I couldn't quite figure out how. I'll be talking about stuff like this again in the future, but my editing skills are admittedly not up to snuff where they should be. So I can't show you what I want to show you. But, so there are like little rubber band slingshots that would have been around all of the things that the ball bounces off of. Like little rubber areas. So it made sense that it bounced off instead of just hitting it and ricocheting for some reason. And then there was a gate that might have been around both of those holes, at least one of those holes, that would have made it harder to get in there. And there was unused Pauline animations and unused numbers in the Pauline minigame. It's Mario and Pauline down there, although she's just called the girl in the manual. The girl or the woman? I can't remember which. I could bring up the manual, but why bother? This is all off the cuff anyway. And I think that's it. Oh, yeah, there's unused one-way gates. I don't know where they would have been. Probably, like, on the other side of the unused gates at the top. Like, over near the dots, there's a one-way gate. And they'd put one on the bottom of that just so you wouldn't fall back out. But I have a feeling they took that away for extra challenge. So, yeah, this game is actually kind of like crack to me. I like playing it whenever I can. I had not played it. Well, that's a lie. I think I played it like once before playing it for recording purposes, and I just never stopped. I've played it probably every day since I've started this project. I also noticed that Nintendo's logo is on the pinball machine. They've been making a lot. They have a tennis court, they have a baseball stadium, now they have a pinball machine. Nintendo's just making everything. Now, at this point, I'm going to go to Game B. The difference between Game A and Game B is that Game B's... sorry, I got something in my throat there. Game B's ball is heavier. Game A, it feels like a video game version of pinball. Game B feels like actual pinball. The ball is heavier and it's got more realistic ball physics. It's not perfectly accurate because this is still an NES game. But if you want more of a challenge in your pinball game, you're not going to get it in this pinball game. But if you want more of a challenge, go with Game B, because it's harder than any of the Ball A options. Ball A is going to be floaty and easier to manage. Although, as we all know, I'm not good at video games anyway, so neither are a good option for me. Honestly, if anybody watching this wants to play pinball and show me their scores so I can figure out how badly how bad I am at this game, that would be kind of cool. I'd love to build that sense of community, you know? So there's more game, but I think I've run out of stuff to talk about, so I am going to stop this right now, a little bit early. Before I go, I'm going to bring up the fact that there is a 2-player option, but it's not 2 balls at once. That would be insane. It's just swapping between 2 people to play a game of pinball and compete to see who has the higher score. I'm sure if you've ever played a multiplayer pinball game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, and another thing before I go is that the sound effects in this game are just so good. I can't quite explain it, but they're incredible to me. They definitely add to the experience. I love the beeps and the crunches and the bloops and the penguin and the seal, and I just love everything. This is not a very cohesive pinball machine. Like, I don't know what theme they were trying to go for. Maybe circus, but I don't know who has playing cards and chicks at a circus. But, you know, I can't help but love this machine. I'm glad that I played this game, and I can't wait to show you what arcadey fun I've got coming up next. Bye, guys.